is Roger with iGadgetGeek, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Droid DNA. It is one of Verizon's 4G LTE certified phones, so let's go ahead and dive right into this package and take a look at what all it comes with. Of course, here's the box that the DNA comes in, some Verizon branding there, and of course your Droid logo there, the giant eye. So basically in this box you're going to get the phone itself. Then down in here some more goodies. You have your actual SIM removal tool, because this does not have a removable battery or a expansion slot. And then of course some good paperwork here, a bunch of information on warranties, how to get started, all of this good information's down in here. Then of course your SIM card. Let's go ahead and get some of this out of the way. And of course you get a standard HTC wall plug with USB on one end and a USB to micro USB sync and charge cable. Well, let's go ahead and get that box and all of this paperwork out of the way. We don't really want to look at that right now. Basically what we're interested in is the actual Droid DNA. So as you can see here, let's go ahead and take a little walk around. On the very back you do have kind of a very nice matte finish, nice soft touch finish with some red accents. You have down here of course the Beats audio, your main rear speaker, your camera flash. Now on the very bottom is your main microphone, and your sync and charge port is covered with this little door. So let's go ahead and open that. As you can see right there, you have access to sync and charge your device. Now the really cool thing about this does have QI certified inductive charging built in. So any QI certified charging plate will charge this phone. So in other words, if you've seen several of the different versions of those charging plates available, HTC makes one, Nokia makes one, you're just able to set this phone on and it will charge wirelessly. Now you have this nice red accent here on both sides, and then of course you have your volume up and down is red. It kind of blends in with that nice red accent. Now on the very top you have your secondary microphone, your headphone jack, your power on and off button, and your SIM card tray. So let's go ahead and power this on up and we'll take a look at the software. Okay, I've repositioned my camera to give us a close-up view of the actual software. As you can see here, we have our forward-facing camera that can record video in 1080p. It also has a 8-megapixel rear camera that can record video in 1080p. You have your main speaker, your back, your home, and your recently launched applications. Now this does run Jelly Bean, so if you press and hold the home button, you are presented with the Google Now. Let's go ahead and exit out of there. Now this does have a 1.5 quad-core processor with 2 gigs of RAM. It has 16 gigs of storage built in, which about 10 gigs of that is accessible. So if we go down here to our settings, we go to storage. As you can see, I have a few apps installed. I haven't installed a lot. I'm using about 5 gigs, a little over 5 gigs, and you have just over 10 gigabytes available. That to me is the only negative I could find about this phone. It would be nice to have a little more storage or an alternative for more storage. But with things like Dropbox, all of those type of cloud storage devices, you're able to augment that internal storage with some of those cloud-based services. Now all in all, this does run Sense 4 Plus, so you have a lot of those Sense widgets we've seen on a lot of other Android phones. Not a lot of new information there. What we've seen in the past, you have your nice clock widget here with the weather. A lot of good information there. Now of course you have access to the Android store, and then it being Verizon, you have all of the Verizon built-in applications. So let's go ahead and exit on out of there. Now one of the things most people ask me when I review a new phone is they like to see that Geekbench 2 score and the Quadrant Standard. So what I'm going to do here real quick is go ahead and launch the Geekbench 2, and we'll run through that process. Before I do that, I want to go to my recent applications and close all these recent applications so there's nothing actually running in the background. So let's go ahead and launch the Geekbench 2, and we'll take a look at the score we get from it. Okay, it has finished. As you can see, we have a score of 1809. Pretty respectable score for a quad-core processor. So let's go ahead here and go back to our recent applications, close out that, and we'll do the Quadrant Standard. So I will go ahead and run this so we can get kind of an idea of those scores. Okay, this has finished and we're getting our number. As you can see here, we have an 8130 from the Quadrant Standard, so there are those numbers for you. Now again, with this you get all of your standard, HTC widgets that we've come to see and expect from an HTC Sense phone. You actually have 24 pages of widgets down here. And of course, to add a widget, you just touch it and drag it up here to the actual screen. As you can see, we have a row of screens here. So once you grab it, you can take it to the screen and set your current location. All of that good information go right back home. And there's your clock that you've just set to your home screen. There too, you have a lot of your little applications here in this bar, and you can pick and choose and move these around like you can on most phones. You have your app drawer. You can look at all applications, frequent, downloads, Verizon apps. So as you can see, I've downloaded quite a few applications on here. I've used this phone for about 2 weeks or so, and I have to say it's a really good phone, but where this phone shines and what is very impressive with the Droid DNA is the 5-inch 1080p display. It has got an absolute gorgeous display. This video will not do justice to this display. If you're looking for a phone that has an absolutely phenomenal display with a really good crisp resolution, head into your local Verizon store and take a look at this display. You will not be disappointed. So that's kind of been my initial walkthrough review of the Droid DNA. Now it does run on Verizon's 4G LTE network, and it does retail for $199 with a 2-year contract. And this has been Roger with iGadgetGeek.